Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of TSW5. Today you join me back on Just Trades' West Coast Mainline Preston to Carlisle route, which is my favourite route in the game, absolutely superb. And today we are not in the Class 86, I know I've been doing a lot of the Class 86 lately, but we are in its younger, more powerful successor, the Class 87. We're in the BLU version, we've copped ourselves 87024 Lord of the Isles, and we have a rake of Mark III coaches, and we are doing an express all the way up to Carlisle non-stop. So yeah, let's get started. How's my FPS doing? Decently. So let's do master switch, brakes, hit the wrong button there. Let's wait for the brakes to release. Unlock the doors, of course. Instrument lights, headlights. Put the reverser in forward. So let's do U to turn the AWS on. Do the fire alarm test. No, so let's go back, and yeah, we have just over a minute to set our train up. DSD is on. Hang on, I just want to quickly look and see if we have a Mark III buffet. We do have a Mark III buffet. Do we have... is it openable? No, don't think so, at least. Can I open it? No, there's nothing there. Are you kidding me? Ah, this is why I prefer the Mark I R&B and the Mark II coaches. Okay, that was some extreme texture load. As per usual, this Class 87 is equipped with this latest suite of Armstrong powerhouse sounds. Oh, if you put the reverser neutral, the main headlight turns off. Nice. So yeah, we've got 15 seconds till we need to go. OBS is recording nicely. I will be saving the game at each of the major stations just in case something goes wrong, and I can go back and re-record if something does go wrong. Shut the doors. Have they added that blind animation where it can go down like in the Class 86? No, not yet. Right, next and final stop, Carlisle in 80 miles. It has to be one of the longest gaps between stops in TSW. Ooh, we've got a train coming in. It's a Class 87 with a rake of steel wagons. What service is that? It is Moss End to 7 Tunnel Junction, 6 Victor 39. Also, if you were wondering, we are in the Cargo Line Volume 4 military timetable, and the Class 86 is enabled, so we will probably see both of those. Yeah, it's just I've been driving the Class 86 so much that I wonder if that, yeah, being back in the 87 it actually feels a bit weird. Oh, there's another 87 over here. 87009 City of Birmingham. Let's see what service he's doing. Demarsh to Moss End. Oh yeah, here we go, baby. I do have a confession to make. I do have AC/DC's Highway to Hell going around in my head, because this is a bit of an involved story. I was actually playing American Truck Sim earlier today, and my brother found a playlist on Spotify where it's basically like just trucking music. Was that a skipper pacer? It is? Nice, those are pretty rare. Those are mostly associated for being in Cornwall, but they did have service up here. The Pacers did not fare well in Cornwall service due to their underpowered lack of power and also flange squeal. Alright, we can go up to 110 in a minute. For those who don't know, the Mark IIIs on this route were actually recycled off of Great Western Express, but they had a huge amount of changes done into, including a completely new interior, better sound, and also adding buffers at each end to make them the Mark IIIA variants, because the variants of the Mark IIIs that we had before were the Mark IIIs coupled to HSTs that didn't have buffers. 7, 38, 39. Oh yeah, here we go, baby. Clear up to 110. Yeah, we are absolutely going to be flying northward today. I think I definitely prefer the Class 86's horn and looks over the 87. The 87 is still an absolute treat to drive, especially since it's the only train on this route capable of going 110 miles an hour. I find it so sad that the stewards area of the Mark III buffet coach isn't modelled. Such a shame, really. Okay, we have an hour and 10 minutes to get to Carlisle. I didn't actually know it could take that long. The timetable surface says it only takes an hour and 5 minutes, but we're supposed to get there by 1:22, while it's currently almost 12:22. Oh yeah. Speed power. I love these old British Rail electrics, man. They're so good. I absolutely love them. And of those, the 86s are definitely my personal favorite. One thing we've passed 100 miles an hour, now leaving Class 86s behind. The thing I was going to say is, we now have a complete rail scene on the West Coast Main Line Preston to Carlisle for this era, apart from one major omission. That is the advanced passenger train tilty thing that British Rail were still running timetable services on the West Coast Main Line at this time. Unfortunately, we only have that for the WCML North for TS Classic at the time of recording, but who knows, Just Trains may put it in, because they were still running on this route in 1986, so who knows, we may get it. I highly look forward. If Just Trains does an APT for this route, that'll probably become one of my most driven trains other than the Class 86. That was a bodged fly past. Let me do one better. Hang on. Let's leave it behind. If you don't have a tilting train, 110 is still the legal maximum on this route, only dependent... Was there an asset floating in midair? I'll have to go back and watch that footage in slow motion. So, yeah, basically, yeah, like, if we could get an APT on this route, and then, yeah. With TSW5 coming, being announced within the week, who knows? It's being announced just under a week from today at the time of recording. And frankly, I'll let you in on a little secret, I'm not that excited for it. Updating the base game every year seems very money hungry. Like, why can't you just update the base game instead of making a whole new iteration that no one wants. And I know people are going to say to me, well, you shouldn't be complaining. There's a free starter pack, and yes, I know about the free starter pack, and I'm actually really glad they recycled it. But TSW6 shouldn't exist in the first place. They should just call the game Trains of World. No bloody 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, that's a neutral section. My bad. Yeah, just update the base game every year with new routes for free for everyone. And that's what they should be doing. They've done it for TS Classic for the past couple of years. Why can't they do it for TSW? It just seems incredibly money hungry, and it just gives them a chance to foist new crappy base routes on us. Like, the only really, really good base route I can think of off the top of my head is Southeastern High Speed. Literally, that's it. Yeah. Like, all the other ones have been incredibly bodged in some way. Take the TSW5 route, base routes, for instance. San Bernardino line. That's the third Southern Californian route to feature as a TSW base route, which is ridiculous. Because, quite frankly, the TSW5 should, they should be looking at other places that are not Southern California, and it's also the second Metrolink route in a row to feature as a base route. Also, the what was it? I'm trying to think of what it was. Oh man. Yeah, okay. And so, I just mentioned the San Bernardino line. Then the Kinzigtalbahn. Okay. Frankfurt to Fulda, not really an inspired idea for a base route, but scenery's decent, everything else. Apart from one thing. The performance. The performance on Kinzigtalbahn is absolutely atrocious. It's never been optimized. And, quite frankly, I don't think it ever will be optimized. Then West Coast Mainline South. Good rolling stock variety, but let down by two major things. Number one, it's far too short. It was cut off at Milton Keynes, so the maximum length run you can do with the Pendolino is half an hour, which is ridiculously short in something as powerful and quick as the Pendolino. Then it should have been extended up along the Trent Valley line, West Coast Main Line, Trent Valley line, and then along the Trent Valley as far as Birmingham New Street, because then it could have hooked up with the Birmingham Cross City line, and that would have been so that it could have route hopping potential, and they could have recycled Birmingham New Street. And I know how much DTG likes to recycle stuff. And then the second problem with West Coast Mainline South is the Pendolino is, for some reason, a separately sold add-on, despite it being an absolutely vital component of the West Coast Main Line. They decided to sell it separately and charge people extra for it, which is ridiculous, quite frankly. Passing Bay Horse. Absolutely flying. I don't like running the 87 as much as I would like running the 86 with the Mark IIs, but I do like running the 87 with the Mark IIIs on the back and actually zooming at 100 miles an hour. I don't think I've ever done a Preston to Carlisle direct before, because all the other times I've driven the 87, I stop at intermediate stations to avoid boredom, but I decided, why not? Let's just do full bananas to try and, yeah. coming, passing through the village of Goldgate. Alright, we will have to slow down in a bit to go through Lancaster, unfortunately. Speed limit goes down to 75 miles an hour for trains passing through. Ah, just banged my mic. Alright. I will have to shut it down in a bit so I can start slowing down, so I think I'll shutting it down. And then there's a neutral section near Hest Bank that I remember. Absolutely flying north. This is the West Coast Main Line route we wanted. Like, Preston to Carlisle has to be my favourite section of the West Coast Main Line. It's not a section where you can get up to 125 miles an hour in real life, but hey, I just really love what Just Trains have done with this add-on. I have to slow down quite quickly. Coming up to Lancaster already. Man, we go so much faster when we could do 110 in this thing. Holy. Oh, I probably should shut it down because we do have a downward grade coming into Lancaster I'd forgotten about. $60 miles to go. Alright, we're clear up to 85. I'll sound the horn to go through Lancaster just because I think that'll be fun. Is that an 86 or an 87? I think that's an 86. Yeah, there's an 86. Just leaving Lancaster with a Rake Mark 2Fs. Have to check to see what service that is. There's a Mark 1 RMB. There's a double header of GMPT bases. Alright, crossing over the River Loon. I forgot to sound my horn while going through Lancaster, but hey, it doesn't really matter. Alright, we do have a neutral section coming up, so I will need to keep an eye out for that. Oh goodness, DSD. Come on. Where's that 86? There she is. Glasgow Central to Poole, 1 Oscar 1-1. Alright, where's that neutral section? Okay, we're clear back up to 100, and then we're back up to 110. There we go, that's full juice. But there is a neutral section coming up, so I will need to run it down in a bit. I was hoping to get a perfect run with neutral sections today, but turns out I was mistaken. There's the neutral section warning sign, so I'll just shut it down. Oh, I forgot to save it at Lancaster, so this will have to do. There we go. I'm just doing that just in case. We do have a yellow signal. Uh-oh. Nope, we don't. Alright, come on, buddy. Where's that neutral section? There's the junction to Morecambe. And here's the Morecambe North junction line coming in. The only train that uses that in timetable mode is the what is it? The Class 20 Thumper Rail Tour that goes from Morecambe to Carnforth. And then I think the only trains that still use that in real life, this is Hestbank by the way, are DRS, direct rail services, nuclear waste trains from Heysham. Had to sound the horn there, it was obligatory. That's my favourite place to train spot in TSW. That's full throttle. Wow, we are flying today. Holy. I forgot how fast the 87 was, because I've been running the 86 constantly, and that's, what, limited to 100? The 87 can do 110. There's the Bolton Les Sands level crossing. I will have to sound the horn for going through Carnforth, just for any rail fans that are there. I wonder if there are any services in the sidings at Carnforth. No, but there is a train, which is the Carlisle to Lancaster. Oh, that's at 86. I did that service in the last video, ironically. One Papa 05 is the one I did in my last video, funnily enough. Is it the 86? Yeah, quite a short formation that 86 service has. Actually zooming through Carnforth Yard, there's Steamtown Carnforth off to our left. There's a Northern Transpennine Class 47, one without the high intensity headlamps. And here we come to Carnforth itself. Flying through. This is the high-speed route we all wanted, but we didn't get. Like, we had Kassel to Würzburg, we had Peterborough to Doncaster, we had LGV Mediterranee, but all of them pale in comparison to the true magnificence of this route. And that, if I sound as if I'm exaggerating, I'm not. This is an absolutely, like, this is literally the best route in the entire game. Like, yeah, 100%. I'm not exaggerating or joking or anything like that. This is the best route in the entire game. I instinctively ducked while going under that motorway flyover. I'm at full throttle and we're still losing speed. Lovely. Just put it in hold since we can't go any higher. Oh, I forgot to save at Carnforth. There we go. Yeah, I'm just saving the game every so often, just in case. Oh yeah, here we go, here we go. Better start running this down or we're all over speed. Nowadays, there aren't really any loco hauled trains over this line anymore. It's all multiple units. The Pendolinos, the Northerns, the Trans-Pennine Expresses, they're all multiple units. If it's the loco hauled service, it's either a freight train or it's a rail tour. Oh, we do have to slow down to 100 in a minute, and then we won't be able to go. And then we won't be able to go back to 110 for a while. 50 miles to run. Wow, you cover so much of the route in this on the express services in the 87. That is an 86 doing the Glasgow Central to Harwich Parkeston Quay, which is, I believe, the only service of the day going in that direction to Harwich. Oh, I do have to run it down a bit. Oh, hang on. Oh, that's too much. Alright, 45 miles to run. Everything's going tickety-boo. Train's running like an absolute dream. Yeah, we're now restricted to Class 86 velocities. Oh, goodness. Oh, there's a Class 87 mail train noise coming up on Oxenholme. I wonder what that service was. Boss Head to Red Bank. Right. Okay, I gotta run you down, buddy, so I can... Oh, and that's a neutral section. Alright, pressing overload reset. I'll do a save at Oxenholme. Alright, 90 limit. Alright. coming up on Oxenholme. There's the Windermere branch on our left. Track was laid for that, but never utilized. Oh, I do need to do a quick save, just in case. There we go. That's a 1% grade. These things, that's pretty... that's not good. Yeah, we're limited to 90 miles an hour for the time being, which makes sense because, well, good view off to the left. There's the town of Oxenholme. Oh, crap. You slow down to 85. I didn't want to run it down all the way. Really starting to get into the hills of the Lake District.
Are you driving?
Oh, that was my mum, Fury. Sorry about that, but yeah, I'm driving on Lake District, north of England. It's like in between Preston and Carlisle. I absolutely adore the scenery on this route. Like, I literally cannot get enough of it. Miles to Carlisle. Nice. We've officially completed about half the trip. I wonder how long I've been recording for. 34 minutes. Right, okay. Actually, no, aren't we traveling like due east? I think we've covered over half the trip at this point. So yeah, we're on track, I think. Yeah, I'm surprised steam engines could even manage the West Coast Main Line because it's so steep and winding, and even Flying Scotsman, which at the time the West Coast Main Line was completed was 50 years in the future, can barely get up the West Coast Main Line in anything other than clear weather. There's another Class 86 with another break of Mark 2s, Fs, So, what is that service? 1 Victor 72, Glasgow Central to Painted. I think I've driven that one, actually. Let's run you down a bit. There we go. Yeah, we now have to go even slower, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, we're flat. Okay, shut it down. Alright, we're now downhill for a bit. What's my FPS doing? Really nicely, actually. There's the hills of the Lake District. The loco brake should be enough to control our speed. There's the M6 off to our left. Oh man, this is such a scenic part of the route. I love it so much. Just so paranoid about OBS braking on me. Alright, we could go back up to 90 and then 100. Nice. I do have a neutral section coming up to worry about, but just look at that scenery! Oh man, this is beautiful. Let's go into photo mode. I believe it's time for a screenshot. Let's do like up there. Actually, no, a bit lower than that, I think. Yeah, that honestly can't really argue with that. Let's get the depth of field down ever so slightly, just enough to blur those distant trees. Yeah, there we go. No motion blur because I don't think it looks that good, quite frankly. And let's take the shot. One thing that you do notice is the 87 has one more throttle tap changer notch than the 86. The 87 has 39 and the 86 has 38. Alright, I do have to keep an eye out for that neutral section. But look at that view. This route looked good in TS Classic. And in 2013, that just tells you how beautiful this area is in real life. Oh, I did not mean to turn it off. My bad. Whoops. Another thing that I noticed throughout the Class 87 is that the DSD doesn't go off as often. Or that may be just my imagination, I have no idea how this thing works, what the timing system is like, the real version. Oh, and that's another neutral section. Let's just reset that overload. Alright. Here's T-Bay goods loop. Probably one of the bigger goods loops on the route. Probably should just drop down another save just to be safe. 35 miles to go. Alright, we have 28 minutes to do 34 miles, right. If I can accelerate quickly, then we should be able to get back up to 105 in a minute. Should be getting pretty close to Shap, right? That's full juice. I do love running through the Lake District. Like, if you have a look at my Dovetail Live profile, this is by far my most played route in TSW5, and it's easy to see why. In TSW4 it was Blackpool branches, and then before that, in TSW3, what would have been my most played route? Probably something like Southeastern High Speed, maybe. Or maybe Niedertalbahn. Probably Southeastern High Speed, but yeah. Oh, and we can accelerate. Lovely. There's another Class 86. Absolutely storming past. What surface is that? That is the 1 Victor 7-3 Aberdeen to Penzance. Oh my goodness, Aberdeen to Penzance. That's so long. I believe Cross Country does something similar nowadays with their Class 220 Voyagers. They do Aberdeen to Penzance. They have done Aberdeen to Penzance, but yeah. Doing that in this era would have meant at least 2 locomotive changes, because the section from Aberdeen to Edinburgh and the section from Birmingham to Penzance weren't electrified, and still aren't electrified in this time period. I think they're electrifying part of the Fife Circle line up toward Aberdeen. But yeah, that's about as far as I know. Oh, was that another train? It is. Oh, hello. I know exactly what that is. That is a Carlisle 4 military service. Yes, look at that. Nice. If I do put the pole like there. That's very similar to a thumbnail I've done before, so I won't do that. I do love to see the Carlisle Volume 4 military services and the Class 86 services mixing. That's so nice. I know it's like a small quality of life thing, but yeah. Alright, coming up on 90 limit and also coming up on Shap Summit. Alright. These safety system bonuses should give me a huge amount of experience. I keep hitting the buzzer instead of the horn. Hang on, I need to shut you down. There's Shap Summit. Let's drop down another quick save. What's my FPS doing? Decently. Alright. 30 miles to Carlisle. It's basically in a straight line from here. There's those sea cow wagons from West Cornwall Local with the ballast. It's like there's a ballast hopper there. I believe there is like one service in the middle of the night where you get to pick up those wagons. Don't know exactly which one that is though. It's probably one of the ones with the diesel locomotives. We're coming up on Hardendale Quarry. Yeah, there's Hardendale Quarry. There is one service in the entire timetable where you shunt at Hardendale Quarry with the Tees Valley cement hopper wagons, and that's brilliant. Another thing I probably should have mentioned, I have every single layer for this route that is possible to have, apart from, like, the class... Ooh, 87, nice, with the Rake Mark 3s. What was I thinking? Oh yeah. Everything, Class 86, Cargo Line Volume 4 Military, Northern Trans-Pennine Via Heavy Freight Pack, Tees Valley Line, Class 20, Class 31, West Cornwall Local, Spirit of Steam, and then, yeah, but you do need Spirit of Steam to unlock the trip workings at Carlisle, unfortunately, because some of the box wagons from Spirit of Steam are essential to some of the services. And then also, yeah, I think the only layer I don't have is 47484 Eisenbahn Kingdom Brunel by Athena Simulations. Oof. The less said about that, the better. And that just substitutes in for the Class 47 services. So I have every service it is possible to have, which is nuts. Like, there's the service variety on this route and Blackpool branches is quite frankly insane. 26 miles to Carlisle. Alright. There's Harrison Sidings off to the left. I asked this in my last video and I'll ask it again. If any of you know of a timetable service that goes down Harrison Sidings for whatever reason, please do let me know down in the comments section, because I would love to try it. Whoops, I did not mean to leave that to the last minute like I did, but hey. Yep, that's a pretty big overspeed. There's the M6 again. OBS is still working, thank heavens. I don't want to have to go and reload a save if I don't have to. Oh yes, we can go up to 100 in a minute. That's so good. Oh goodness. There's the 100 sign. Runner up. Sheep. "22 miles to go. Everything's going nicely." Oh, goodness. Alright, we do have a 75 limit coming up for passing through Penrith, so hopefully we'll be alright. How's my FPS doing? Ooh, it's actually doing a lot better than I anticipated. There's the M6 again. Meow. Let's get Notch Rod of the trade brake going. Ah! Oh my goodness. Hopefully your eardrums just didn't get blown out by that. My microphone just fell off my desk. Sorry about that. Let's see. Hopefully it's still working. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Okay, yeah. Oh yeah, turning on Notch Rod of brakes, perfect timing. Then we have a neutral section just after Penrith. So better not have any rheostatic brake going. And then we can go straight up to 110 after Penrith. Lovely jubbly. I do need to remember to drop it a save at Penrith, just in case. Alright. Yeah, neutral section warning sign. There's the M6 again. Alright, we have, like, what, 16 minutes to do 18 miles. That should be more than fine if we keep above 60 miles an hour on average for the entire trip. Streaking through Penrith. No stopperinos for us. Yeah, we do have, I forgot to mention, we also have a Mark 1 NHA guards van on the back. Those specially modified Mark 1s are capable of doing 110. Which are my personal, not my favorite variant of the Mark 1, but definitely in the top 3. Neutral section. Power off, power on. Alright. 17 miles. There we go, that's full juice. I just ran it up from 0 to maximum in one fell swoop. One thing I do want to get as an add-on for TSW6 is a Caledonian Sleeper mod for not a mod but a DLC for West Coast Mainline South, complete with appropriate sleeper coaches and the Class 92 locomotive in GBRF colors. But then again, it probably won't happen because GBRF hasn't never licensed anything to Dovetail Games. I think they're rather secretive about their licensing. $15 miles, baby. 15 miles. I forgot to drop it a save at Penrith, so we'll just do it there. Yeah, I think we'll get to 110 all the way to Penrith. Carlisle, I mean. We've already passed Penrith. What am I saying? Goodness gracious. Alright, OBS seems to be doing well. 57 minutes and 30 seconds into the video. Alright, I will have to turn this thing off because 0.5% downgrade is more than enough to keep our speed up, I think. Do another obligatory flight path shot. Oh yeah, flying. Absolutely flying. Oh, oh, we're on a level grade, hang on. We're literally going almost twice the speed that the slowest train on the slowest service on this line has to go on. The slowest services are with the Cargo Line 4 military services because the KWA wagons are limited to 60 miles an hour due to their... I don't know why precisely, but... $11 miles to go, 12 minutes to get there. I think we'll get there on time. I haven't driven the 86. 87, I mean, it's so long because of the 87. I mean, because of the 86. Goodness gracious, why am I mixing up the 86 and 87? $10 miles to run, 11 minutes to get there. I should get there with more than enough time to spare. That's if OBS doesn't decide to crash on me. Probably should do a save around here, Just in case. My goodness. You hoover up the miles so quickly at 110 miles an hour. We haven't had any adverse signals the entire length of the route. Wow. I'm... Wow, the blind actually does something. I never tested that before. Now I can't put the blind up. Excuse me? Why can't I put the blind up? Hello. There we go. There we go. 105 limit coming up. Oh, and then we have an 85 limit coming up, so might as well start slowing down now for the 105. Oh, this junction here at this corner causes the train to sway alarmingly. Watch this. I think it's this corner. Maybe? Let's see if it sways alarmingly. No. Alright, we do have an 85 limit coming up, which is annoying, but we can't do anything about that. Start slowing down for that 85 limit. If you're far enough out, you can just use notch 1 on the brakes and full loco brake, and you can slow down in a jiffy with more than enough time to spare. 9 minutes, 6 miles. .85 reached. There we go. And then we could go back up to 90, but it won't be. It'll just be for a couple of miles before we have to slow down around the Upperby Yard area. .90 limit in force. I won't accelerate for it since we are on the downward grade. Since we are so close to Carlisle, it doesn't really make sense to apply any power. The longest run and you can do on this route is with Cargo Line Volume 4 military. A couple of the services, like normally it just takes about 2 hours to complete a full run of the route with Cargo Line Volume 4 military. But if you, as with a couple of the services, you actually get looped. So it actually takes about 2.5 hours because you're sitting in loops waiting for trains to go by. Yeah, there's the 75 limit for coming into Carlisle initially. Around Upperby, I'll also give it a save, just to be careful because, yeah, you never can tell, you know. Yeah, 75 to 20, which is a bit nuts, how fast you have to decelerate. But if you time it right, you could decelerate really, really, like, just perfectly. Yeah, I think it's beginning to load in all the stuff around Carlisle. 2 miles to run. Let's start the brakes. Start the brakes on 50%. And since we're 2 miles out, we give it a save. There we go. Save game functionality is good, but I have known it to be slightly buggy with the weather. Like, if it's raining, it will, like, definitely change up how the weather works. And if it's snowing, it'll start raining and that kind of thing. Here's Upperby TMD on the right. We have, wow, we have, what, 5 minutes to do just over a mile. That's more than enough time, really. Double yellow. There's Upperby Yard on the right with, oh, is that a class 40 I see? Yes, it's a class 40. For Northern Transpennine. What service is he doing? Upperby TMD to Carlisle. Oh, he's doing a stock shunting move. We do have a neutral section coming up. Just keep it going on the brakes. Slow and steady with the brakes. I love doing the trip workings around. Oh, I have to release the train brake, so the neutral section doesn't affect it. There, power off, power on, and reset. 0.6 miles to go, 4 minutes to do so. Oh. Wow, I responded to that. I responded to AWS really quickly. Here's the bridge. Like, the reason trip working at Carlisle is so fun is because there's like, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 separate yards with which to do shunting in, which is quite fun. Yeah, there's the couple of, ooh, there's a Northern Transpennine 47 and a large logo 47. There's a train sitting at the platform. Ooh. It's a steel train, loaded steel train with a rail freight grey class 37 off of West Cornwall Local on the front. That thing pops up far too often. Moss End to D Marsh is the service. What's the service code? 6 Mike 23. All right, here we go. 3 minutes early. Yeah, buddy. OBS is still working, which is good. Yeah, I'll just do it ever so gently. I've never seen a steel train parked at that main platform before. This is my favorite station in the whole of TSW, Carlisle is. Absolutely beautiful. Alright, here we go. There's our stop marker. Oh wow, we are 2.5 minutes early. Wow. Give it full service. Ooh, basically perfect. I'll take that. Alright, let's release the train brake. Let's have a look, tad of a look round while we wait for the passengers to disembark. But then the service will continue on as AI to Glasgow Central. Ooh, we've got an 08 with some Tees Valley. What are these wagons called again? Can't remember what these wagons are called. Hang on. Where is it? HEA hoppers, and then some sea cows. Oh, and Pacer coming in. Lovely. And we've got an 87 over here. North Britain. Right. Right, let's shut the doors. And yeah, there we go, everybody. That will be it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye, and thank you so much for watching.